Record. Hello, everybody. This is Cedric Crumbley. I got my buddy George Ramsey on the phone. Just real quick, I got to tell you, there are a lot of people during my career that I've been influenced by, and Ramsey is one of those guys. And I'm happy that we were able to stay in touch with one another. He gave me a call this week, and as we were talking, he shared some information with me about something that's going to take place on December 1st. And I got so excited about it. I said, man, we got to record this because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that doesn't know about this information. So with that, I want to introduce George Ramsey.
Hey, good morning.
What's happening, man? So yeah, tell me, let's start back off on that conversation we were having. Tell me more about it.
Well, we were talking about the Wages and Fair Labor Standards Act that's going to take effect on December 1st. That is a United States Department of Labor mandate that mandates federal changes that are going to take place for salaried employees to make them eligible for overtime pay. And so, I just wanted to continue to have some more conversations about that, because I know that you had mentioned that you weren't aware of the changes that were taking place, and that you knew that there were possibly people who were following you that were unaware of the changes as well.
Yeah, I got a lot of friends that own businesses, and you were saying things about, employees, and I said, wow, man, I'm pretty sure a lot of my friends don't know this information. So, yeah. I mean, I know if I had employees, I would want to know, and especially when I ask you, so what would happen if the person didn't comply? And you said they would be in violation. And I said, okay, then this needs to get put out.
Yeah, because, first, the biggest thing to keep in mind is that this is a federal mandate. So this is not something that organizations are choosing to do on their own. Many organizations already comply with this type of mandate, where they have moved lower salaried employees to hourly wages, as opposed to keeping them termed as salary. And so, one example of that would be, you have employees who are making a $25,000, or maybe let's say a $30,000 salary per year. And, with that $30,000 that they make each year, they may work 60 hours a week. I know some of the employees that we've talked to in our agency have stated that they typically work 65 to 70 hours a week. And so what's happening is employees are working 20 to 25 hours more per week than the standard 40, and they're not being compensated for that work. And so I have to believe that, when the federal government looked at this, and they were a lot of the talk that's taking place concerning wages and higher, hourly wages, how do we develop a program that will be in the best interest of employees, so that, their self-care is taken into account, where they're not working excess hours for minimal pay. And so with these changes, that now allows employees to be eligible for overtime pay for anything over the traditional 40 hours of work that most people work during the work week.
Okay. Now you mentioned something, what you're trying to help with. You brought up some type of time card or something you were saying?
One of the things that we're doing for employees that work for my agency is we've developed some tools to kind of help them track the work that they're doing on a weekly basis. It's kind of hard when you're traditionally working, 60 to 65 hours a week during a normal 40-hour work week. And so, keeping track of actual time worked versus actual time at work, because there's a very distinct difference between the two, becomes very difficult for employees to be able to manage. And so we've developed several tools that allow our employees to do a number of things. One is it allows them to do a work study, to look at the amount of hours that they're putting in on a daily basis to various tasks at work. So whether they are driving, whether they are in meetings, whether they're meeting with families, whether they're doing supervised or unsupervised visits, they only count the amount of time that they're doing for that work and not necessarily downtime that they're spending. And so, give you an example. So if I have a meeting and I arrive 15 minutes early for that meeting, and the meeting doesn't start until say 9 a.m. and I arrive at 8:45 a.m. and I'm sitting around waiting because I like to be early, then that is not considered time work. That's considered wait time. And so you're not compensated for the time that you don't work. You're only compensated for the time you do work.
Awesome. I like it, man. Okay. So this is something that I've always had this question with people that supervise. Um, how do you count in the fact when people are on their phones on social media at work? Is there any way to?
well, Cedric, unless your job is to manage the social media account for your employer, then that would not be considered work time.
Okay, all right. You want to clear that up. I read a book where the guy was suggesting that if you wanted to increase production, you should have everybody that works for you when they arrive to work. They need to lock their phones up in a locker, then they get their phones back once they leave. And he said, guarantee your production will go up by X%. But I don't know.
Well, I mean, that depends how you look at it. I remember a time, when we were still working in the Army, where when we got to the office, we would take all of our cell phones and throw them in a drawer so that they didn't become distractions during that red time that we had to do. And so ultimately what it boils down to is having the kind of leaders who lead every single day that can help you sit down to really understand what's required of you to get the most productive work from you on a daily basis. And so, we certainly shouldn't believe that we have to treat adults like children.
Yeah.
And that's not a leadership style that I succumb to. I believe that it's possible for us to be able to do the things that we need to do, even if we have minimal distractions. But having a clear understanding of what's required of us on a daily basis is what's going to make us more productive, I think.
Hey, Ryan, I got to tell you, man, these are the conversations that I miss. We used to have these conversations where we was, on a base together about this.
Yeah, we did.
So I appreciate that. I had a thought. I lost it when you was talking because I reflected back on how we would hang out.
And how I used to cook dinner, cook more dinner than I needed so I could share it with you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I ate good when you was here, man. But so tell me again the name of this program. What's the name of it?
Well, this is the Federal Labor Standards Act.
Okay.
And it's a federal mandate that anyone who is interested in finding more about it can just they can Google the Department of Labor Federal Labor Standards Act, or they can Google FLSA, which stands for Federal or Fair Labor Standards Act. It's something that is accessible to anyone if they go to the www.dol.gov website. And on that website, they talk about everything from the Fair Labor Standards Act minimum wage, Fair Labor Standards Act overtime pay. There is an area there where it defines what hours work are like. It defines child labor requirements as it applies to this particular act. And then there are numerous tools available on their website to provide more information for people too.
Okay. Well, is there anything we haven't discussed so far that you think is important to add?
Well, we haven't discussed when you're going to make it home to your family, and so you can get off of that Army post and get back to your wife and lovely kids.
Yes, sir. The 15th, I'll touch down in Houston, man. I'm looking forward to it. Get to be a family man. I do miss it because I've been out here playing and acting like I'm single again. But I do miss being being a family man. And you talk about leadership. I learned a lot from being a family man about leadership. I thought I knew a lot, but it's one thing leading soldiers, and then leading your family is it takes a different skill set, I think. Yeah. You still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, you were saying it's one thing to lead soldiers versus being a family man. You know, the one thing that I would tell you is that, I learned to be a very compassionate leader because of my family, and those are some of the things that we take for granted. You know the environment we come from, and the way we're raised to believe that leadership or how we develop our leadership style should be, but it's those families that help keep you grounded and help give you a better perspective of what being a compassionate leader is about. I've learned to really be more vulnerable as a leader and less stoic, and so it definitely has its benefits. And I'm retired from the Army and back home and back to work. I'm really trying to reconnect to my family. Of course, my kids are all gone. They're out of college and in college, and so it's just my wife and our dog and I, and we're learning to really appreciate each other once again. And so it takes some time, and that's why I keep telling you that it's time for you to get out and get away from that Army post and get back to your family, so that you can get back to being grounded and truly loving your family and growing together again.
Yeah, see, man, that's what I like about you. Shoot it straight, man. I'm out to stay in touch with you, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we got to.
Yeah. You understand me, and I appreciate your guidance and the advice you always give me.
Yeah.
Even
Well,
when I might not want to hear it. Remember that there was one time I showed you my rating, and I said I don't really care about this rating. I don't want to get promoted anyway. And you
right.
there's something about don't ever let me hear you say you don't want to get promoted.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You come to work every day to give those you work with and you work for the best of you, and to say that I don't want to be promoted to me says that I'm going to come give you the least of me. And so, you can't be a high achiever or a high performer and simply just shut those things down simply because you've made a decision in your mind that I don't want to get promoted. And it's a very mental thing, and so to have that kind of mindset and to be someone who is highly engaged on a daily basis just to me doesn't set well. And so you go to work, you give your 80% every single day, because that it's going to be required of you. And so I those are just the kind of things that as a leader we don't want to hear people that that work for us or that we mentor from time to time, telling us that, listen, I've made a decision to give you the least of me every single day. And so because I've made that decision, I'm fine with it. Well, that's not acceptable. And so, you that was something I really wanted to make sure that you understood.
I read it loud and clear. Message received. I gotta say,
well,
man, a lot of people compliment me on who I am and everything is because of people like you that I look up to, that I'm able to get the right guidance. I don't follow a lot of people, but you are one of the people that I follow and I take advice from. So I really appreciate it.
Well, and I appreciate you. I've always been proud of your success, and every time I go on social media or I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn or Facebook, or, I look up and I say, man, Crumbley is doing it, and so you may not know it, and I may not tell you enough, but you inspire me too, and so, I'm inspired by the growth that you've had, over the years, and the things that you've been able to do, and the momentum that you're building with your book and with your work. And, you wouldn't know it, but sometimes I used to sit in that room and think to myself, man, I don't know how Crumbley can sit there without a television in his room, um, you know, and just read books. And so, I used to think, man, maybe I should just turn my television off and read that book. Or, remember the conversation we had about you writing, and I shared with you that eventually I wanted to write. And I've sat there and stared out that window many a days and said to myself, man, if I could just write that first page,
Yeah.
I think I would be good, but I just haven't gotten to the point where I can write that first page yet. So,
Yeah.
so that's the thing that I'm building up to.
Okay. All right. Tell you what, man, we got to do another one of these sometime in the future.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like that.
Yeah. But that's it, George, man. Have a good day, and I appreciate you, brother.
Hey, man, thank you. I appreciate you, and God bless, and hope you can get out of there soon.
I will. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.